Welcome back to the More Life Podcast. Another highly anticipated episode, as we have a guest here for us today. We have our Matt and I's good childhood friend, Sam, who's been with us for a long time. Big supporter of the podcast as well, and he has graciously made us some pizza for today.
Yeah, he didn't come empty-handed, and I'm very excited to see what he brought.
No, thanks for having me, guys. As Mike mentioned, it's been a highly anticipated podcast, a podcast that should have been done a couple months ago, but we had some hiccups. We got through them, and we have pizza, so we're going to make it worth your while today.
Should we just dig in then?
I think a live
You have
reaction
to,
right now.
you have to.
Sam brought the pizza over. We haven't seen it. We haven't tasted it. We're
Live
very
reaction
curious.
right here.
Live reaction.
Should we do like a Barstool style, like a score? Or should we just do like what we think of it best?
It's up to you guys. It's your podcast.
I'll give it a score.
Yeah, I'll go score.
I'll give it a score. Now, we got two boxes here. Are they two different kinds of pizza?
Same pies. Yeah,
Same pies?
same
All right.
pies.
Awesome. Let's dig in.
All right. Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah, let's get this one.
This one? Okay.
Ooh, wow.
Wow.
So we got a nice pepperoni pizza here. First thing I notice is spicy cup.
But yeah, cup and jar.
Bonus
Oh, yeah.
bonus points right there.
Oh, yeah. Good crisp on the outside. Looks like it's got a nice finish to it. Good amount of cheese. You don't want it flopping. You don't want it like nothing on there. So.
So you know your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You've been in the
yeah.
pizza game before?
I mean, I wouldn't say I've been in it. I'd like to try pizza at Sabres games and kind of give my reviews then.
Sabres games.
Or other athletic events too.
What's your favorite pizza spot?
Favorite pizza spot.
Like when you think of like Buffalo pizza, like what's the first spot that comes to mind? I feel like I know what you're gonna say.
I mean, I like New York style the best. So anywhere that has that, like I think of La Hacienda, like in Niagara Falls. I think of Broadway pizza in Niagara Falls, also New York
Broadway.
style.
I have not heard of Broadway pizza.
It's right by like the Target.
Yeah, Target, Fuji Grill.
The family.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I've heard of them before.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever been there, but is it good?
It's good. The,
Yeah, it's
the
good.
family came from New York City and like made the pizza down there
Really?
and want to take it here. Yeah.
Wow,
It's
I
good.
did not know that. That's I'll have to try that. I'll have to put that on my list.
Well, I got some slices here. I'm going to give it a try while you guys
behind.
chat it up here.
Let's go try here. Oh yeah, great, good undercarriage. I like it. Like the thin style, cannot beat it. Let's try.
First impression after the first bite, I notice on the thin side, which is perfect in my opinion. I'm a big guy. I'm a big fan of thin pizza. Don't really like the thick. I mean, I don't mind it, but I definitely prefer the thin pizza.
Very doughy, airy.
Yep.
Like it a lot. Got good.
Spicy cup.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
It's got just a
Cup
little,
and char.
just enough spice.
The spicy cup and char, it hits. I'm telling you, like it. You could take an average pizza, and if you put spicy cup on it, it just takes it to a whole nother level. But the sauce, I don't know if you guys have noticed the sauce, but the sauce I've used, like the tomatoes I use, are a really high quality organic tomato that's from California.
Oh wow.
Bianco di Napoli. They're incredible. Like ever since I switched to using them, like the difference has been off the wall. Like every pizza, I was making pretty good pizza before, like not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but it's just once you switch and you incorporate high quality tomatoes, and shout out to anybody who makes pizza at home or is looking into making pizza, it's just a game changer. High quality tomatoes just takes the pizza to the next level.
I know you have the business, like the proofing box business, and that enhances like the dough, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, for sure. So the proofing box is whenever you're making pizza, right, you have to let your pizza dough ferment and proof. It's kind of a final step into the pizza making process. So like right before you're about to make pizza, you want to let your dough proof. And the wooden proofing box is great for providing your dough with like the ideal environment to proof in. Between the porous nature of the wood and its ability to, regulate temperatures consistently, it's a game changer, and it really blows plastic boxes and commonly used silicone containers right out of the water.
Do a lot of pizza businesses use that or no?
Well, it's funny you say that because back in the day, many pizzaiolos, people that made pizza, pizzaiolos being a pizza chef, they exclusively use wooden proofing boxes, and now it's just all plastic, just because a lot of the times it's easier. Pizza shops are cold fermenting their pizza dough, so it's just easier for plastic proofing boxes in most pizzeria. The wooden proofing box is primarily used like residentially for like a lot of pizzaiolos at home, and it's a really good alternative.
Yeah, and I can support that because I do have some experience in a pizzeria. May not be your traditional pizzeria, but it was a pizza shop, and we did use plastic to let the dough ferment and all that, and it was a plastic bins, so it wasn't wooden. And yeah, I would say that most pizzerias probably do use plastic.
Yeah, it's pretty typical. It's a lot easier, and the other thing too with wood is that when you're doing a large scale of pizza, especially at some of these pizzerias, it can get kind of heavy, and it's just more practical to use plastic. But at home though, it's ideal.
Right.
Yeah, you obviously said like your kind of targeted clientele is more people who embrace making pizza at home, want to make the best product they can. Have you ever like reached out to like a smaller like pizza shop that maybe would be more inclined to use like our proofing box?
You know what? I haven't. That's actually not a bad idea. I haven't really thought of it because I mainly do D2C, which is direct to consumer. So it's more, I feel like getting into that is more like wholesale. Something that I'm not ruling off the table, but haven't really thought of that.
So the people that may not know too, Sam, your day job is also kind of in like the sales world in a sense, right? You work for a pickleball company, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I work for a company that has a pickleball brand and a braided fishing line
All
brand.
right, the fishing.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. So you have a lot of experience in like online selling, kind of that world where, I mean, I'm not experienced. I don't know how you are, Mike, but
Not really,
I don't really,
no.
when you start bringing out some of those codes, like, I don't know, you said D something. I was just like, I don't know. But then you explained yourself.
Sure.
so.
Yeah. No, and it's just the terminology that comes with it. I actually got into it's an interesting story. I got into it a few years ago, actually, when I was in college. I took a online course on like Amazon FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon. Kind of started looking into that, and because I've always naturally had an interest for starting my own business, and it wasn't really until I took that course where the light bulb went off, and I kind of started slowly applying things, taking action, and from there, that's kind of how I got into my career and where I am right now.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Excellent Pizzaiolo.
Very good pizza.
Appreciate it, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime, just hit the old Pizzaiolo, and I'll be right over.
That's a new term too to me. Pizzaiolo. I never heard of that.
No, I not either.
Yeah, it's funny because it's not like a very common term, but it's you have to be a Pizzaiolo to kind of understand it. But basically, what it means is just pizza chef.
Yeah.
It's like a fancy way of saying somebody who makes pizza.
So you obviously, are into like cooking pizzas, stuff like that. Are you into like cooking other foods, like cooking dinners,
Oh,
like
yeah.
getting a little fancy with that?
For sure,
that realm?
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I like to cook. Growing up, I cooked a lot. My parents cooked a lot, and naturally, I just kind of took interest in it. And anywhere, like I remember making my lunches from just being a kid. Going to school, and then naturally, right. I think it all starts with curiosity too. You normally get curious. You're like, oh, I can whip out a grilled cheese sandwich. What else can I do?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're broiling steaks and getting veal chops, pounding veal chops in the kitchen, and just making these meals. But I enjoy it. I really do. I mean, cooking to me is like it's an art, and it's therapeutic, and it's just a way for me to like really like be present and lock in the moment and just make some good food.
Yeah. Yeah, no, a lot of people forget. I feel like that's the difference between when you're home, as far as home cooking goes, that's the difference between making like a mediocre meal that's like, like this is all right. Like it's food that I'm eating for dinner. And like, wow, this is really good. Is like the art aspect of it, where you're really concentrated. Like you said, being present in the moment is concentrating on the flavor. Maybe adding some more spices that you're not used to, experimenting a little bit, going into curiosity you were talking about.
Yeah, it's like it's not just like I'm gonna make this this chicken marsala. It's like I'm gonna make this and kind of add my own kind of flavor and ingredient and creativity to make it kind of how I want it
Exactly.
with a more specialized thing.
Right. Yeah, I
It's
remember.
not just, I'm going to make this.
Yeah.
It's different than that.
Exactly. I remember a couple years ago, I actually made ratatouille. I think me and my girlfriend, which fiance now, but
Congratulations, by
thank
the
you.
way.
Big
Thank you.
news.
We watched the Ratatouille movie a couple years ago. Obviously not the first time, but we watched it and we're like, oh, we should make that. So we made it, and it was really like an art. Like we were just everything. The whole process of it was truly an art.
Tell me actually a little bit about that because I'm curious. Because I remember a few years ago you actually sent me a picture of that, and I was like, Cook made that? Like, there's no way he made that. And
Yeah.
then you're like, no, I made it. It's not a joke. Like, I actually made it. And so yeah, talk me through that because I'm curious because one, like, I'm obviously not too familiar with ratatouille. Like, I feel like
Right.
there's not a lot of restaurants around
For
here that
sure,
offer
yeah,
it,
it's definitely-
and it just seems like a very unique dish.
Yeah. Well, I'll do my best. It was about 3 years ago, so not exactly a recent story for myself, but I remember one of the key things is like the sauce. So you have your pan. My pan was a pretty small pan, probably only like 6 to 8 inches diameter, and
Round pan, square pan,
round.
round.
Yep, round. And we made the sauce. It was a blending of like onions, red peppers, tomato sauce, just a different blend of vegetables and spices. And we'd put that in a blender, get it nice and smooth. Then we coated the bottom of the pan with that. And then we sliced very thinly. I believe it was zucchini, squash. There was tomato in there. Some people put eggplant in there as well. You can, as far as the ratatouille itself, you can kind of choose and be creative of what vegetables you can and can't use.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
there's actually
so
like,
it's not like a strict like you have to
No.
use zucchini, you have to use
Right.
like eggplant.
yeah, those are just like the most common ones. And like I saw on the internet, like researching about this, they actually make like dessert ratatouille, like apple pie ratatouille,
Oh,
stuff like that, where your thin slices are apples, maybe different.
that sounds really good.
different kinds of apples. Yeah, it's really interesting. But anyways, you slice those up really thinly, and then you just kind of you fill the outer perimeter, kind of stacking them almost, not so they're standing up, but just kind of they're overlapping each other.
And this is the vegetables?
Yep, and then you just kind of keep swirling it until you get to the middle
And this is all done in the pan, right?
in the pan. Yep, and the pan's not on the oven or on the cooktop or anything. It's just on the table cold, and then you put some more sauce on top, throw it in the oven, and that's that.
Wow.
When it comes out, it's something else.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, not gonna lie, I feel like it's one of those things where you have to actually see being made for you to
Yeah,
visualize it.
exactly,
like right
yeah.
now, I'm just kind of like, okay, you put the sauce down, layer it, and then you just put
Right.
more sauce on top, and I'm
Yeah,
going
it's
like,
hard,
what?
it's hard to visualize.
It's hard to visualize, but yeah, I recommend watching a video. I remember I watched like 3 or 4 before I even attempted it, but it's very good.
That's
cool.
awesome, man. Do you normally cook a lot, or?
I wouldn't say I cook a lot, as far as like getting creative and that kind of stuff, but like regular cooking, yes, I do try and cook almost every day, as like dinner goes. So, I mean, lunches when you're at work, it's obviously tough, but yeah, for dinner, I'm usually cooking most of either me or my fiance. We're cooking pretty much every day. Nothing crazy though on a regular. I definitely want to get back to doing some creative stuff though.
For sure. What would you say is your best meal that you make?
I mean, the ratatouille's up there, but I'll tell you what. I made a chicken parmesan from scratch with the breading, and it was very good. It was very good. And we made our own. Well, we didn't make our own tomato sauce. We just kind of add some more spices to it, season it up a little bit.
Doctor it up.
But next time I'll definitely try and maybe make a homemade scratch sauce. Maybe I'll get your help, maybe Rosario's help. That could be good.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Chicken parm's a classic. I feel like that's like the the go-to dish that most people like, even if they're not like avid home cooks. That's
Yeah.
the one dish that they usually make.
Right. It's like a step into the cooking world almost.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to try is pasta making. I've never made like homemade pasta, and I see people do it like all the time, and it's something I want to try. I feel like it'd be really cool.
Yeah, I've never been into that either. I know there's like different machines out there, and there's different flours you can use, but that'd be very interesting
Yeah.
and cool to do. I say maybe we make a date and do that sometime.
Yeah, we should do it. Definitely, for sure. Well, I mean, while we're on the talk of pasta, what's your favorite kind of noodle?
You know, I'm a pretty when it comes to that, I obviously you have your spaghetti, your fettuccine, but I'm a big linguine guy.
Yeah?
I'm a big
Loves
time
linguine.
linguine guy.
I feel like
really
that might
do.
be Mike's answer as well.
Oh, got a little linguine. Yeah, I mean, I would honestly, I don't eat a ton of pasta. Like, I just never think to eat it because I don't know, it just never like crosses my mind to have. But I mean, it's definitely good. Like, and maybe because growing up we didn't have it like a ton, but oh wait, linguine does taste good. Oh yeah, the flat noodle, ooh, cannot beat that.
So that's definitely your top. That's your top noodle.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's like, I feel like you use that for like special occasions, you know. Some linguine with pasta.
That
with
is
pesto.
true.
Ooh.
Linguine pesto.
Oh yeah.
Linguine Alfredo.
Never been a big Alfredo guy.
No?
I don't know.
Really?
No, I don't know why. Just the sauce never really doesn't mix with me as well. But yeah,
I'll tell you what. My favorite noodle is gnocchi.
Oh yeah.
I love gnocchis.
They're good. They're thick. They're heavy,
Yeah,
but they're good.
Yeah, it can be deceiving because like you'll make yourself a plate and you kind of put the same amount as you would for a typical noodle like elbows or spaghetti, and you're like, this will be enough, and then you get eating it, and it's just like way too much because the gnocchis are so filling.
yeah.
The noodle, it's deceiving.
You have that. That's like your whole night right there.
Exactly.
No, honestly, yeah.
You're zonking out after that.
And it doesn't take a lot.
No,
Like,
no, it really doesn't.
you're looking at your plate and you're going, yeah, there's no, like, I'm gonna load up on this, but then you're like, oh, I should have scaled back.
Yeah, 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 and I don't mind raviolis too,
Yeah.
like filled with like ricotta or something.
See, I'm not crazy about them. I'll eat them, but they're not my number one choice. And to tell you the truth, like, I probably wouldn't even think about ordering them at a restaurant.
Really?
Like, if I'm gonna order sauce, it's just gonna be, whether it's linguine. Like, I'm not picky on my pasta, but raviolis, I'll eat them if they're around. But like, I'm not ordering them.
Yeah, I think it's just the cheese. I'm like, I don't really feel the need for the cheese like that much, which I get made fun of for a lot because I like. Bold opinion. I feel like a lot of things that have cheese don't need the cheese.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's a weird opinion, but
So, like, give me some examples. Like, do you not do cheeseburgers?
I prefer hamburger.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
I know it's a weird opinion, but even a lot of other dishes, like too, like with a salad, like a lot of times you throw like feta cheese in there. I'm like, I'll go without the feta.
Yeah, I can't relate to that because I don't eat salads.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I'm a big cheese guy. Like as far as dairy goes, that's my thing. That's my
Driving
lane.
you.
That's my lane. So, do you not drink milk, or where do you stand on milk?
I mean, I like milk, but I usually do like almond milk or oat milk, one of the two.
Oh wow.
Yeah, even like with like coffee, I always ask for like either add in or ask for like oat creamer or like almond creamer. Never like
Wow.
actual whole.
because you prefer it, or
Just my stomach feels worse afterwards.
yeah.
But so that's like the milk aspect of it. But with cheese, usually that doesn't affect my stomach. But I don't know. I feel like nothing's don't eat cheese. Like this is like a very out there example, but like a cheese stick that like grosses me out. Like,
Cheese
I'm
stick.
like,
Oh, the ones you peel.
yeah, I'm like I could never eat that. Hell no.
Well, that makes sense if you don't like cheese.
Even like mac and cheese. Like my brother he used to
Oh.
always have like Kraft mac and cheese. I'd be like, one time I had to go to another room because it smelled so bad to me. I
Really?
was like-
Really?
I was like, oh, I don't know what it is, but it just looks so bad.
Wow. I mean, we agree on a lot of things.
But
We have a
not
lot of
that.
similarities, but this is where I got to
Yeah.
draw the line. Mac and cheese.
However, I'll
it's
say
way
this.
too far.
If it's like at a restaurant and like the restaurant Mooney's,
Yep.
Yeah.
if it's somewhere like that where like there's other things in the mac and cheese, I'll have that. But just like plain mac and cheese, like I don't know. Just,
Wow.
Did you have like cheese trauma? You have like a past experience with cheese that really affected you?
no.
No, it's just
I
it's
wish-
just that little
I
intolerance.
wish I had a good story, but yeah, just no.
Because sometimes like that's an actual thing. Like people will avoid certain foods because of this one past experience that they've had with it.
Yeah, I avoided peanut butter for a long time because like one time, I believe it was like second, third grade, had like a sandwich, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, classic elementary school dish.
Yep.
And there's just way too much peanut butter, and I threw up like right in the lunchroom.
Ooh.
And ever since then, for a while, I would kind of avoid things with peanut butter, but
Yeah.
now I love peanut butter.
That
I
would do
love
it.
peanut
That would definitely do it. Like you hear a lot of people say like, "Oh, I don't do tequila." Right?
Yep.
Like that's your common example
Yep.
right there.
Yeah.
That's technically not a food, but like, they've had a bad experience with it, and they're like, "Yep, I don't do that."
Yeah, I feel like I read something recently that said that, like the process and like what's in tequila, like the alcohol of tequila itself, is better for you than a lot of other like hard liquors.
Is
Oh,
that
really?
right?
Mm-hmm.
See, I wouldn't even consider that because when I hear alcohol, I'm like,
it's all
anything about
yeah,
like
it's all
being
bad,
good for you just goes out the window.
Well, yeah,
but
it
certain
is.
ingredients, to your point, like certain
Yeah,
ingredients.
on like a scale of like which one's the worst for you. Like tequila's on the better end of like compared to like a vodka or anything else really.
Wine,
maybe not like wine, but
yeah,
I'm saying
wine
like,
can be actually pretty healthy.
Yeah,
pretty
to
hard.
a
I mean,
degree.
not in
no, like
all in
one,
moderation, but
yeah, like one glass of red wine. I feel like
right,
is
it's actually
okay.
pretty heart healthy. I hear.
Mhm.
So,
I've heard of that before too. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I just love cheese. I love pizza, and
I
I
love
just
everything.
I need to reiterate that just so the whole world knows.
Yeah.
Title of the episode: I heart cheese
I heart cheese.
with the heart emoji.
So while talking about pizza, right? Like being in Buffalo, I feel like we have a pretty like common style of pizza, which is like thick, cheesy, kind of like heavy. I guess you could say even floppy. You know,
Yep.
do you guys? Is that? I know. Initially, you said you guys prefer thin pizza, but like,
Yep.
is that pizza that you completely avoid? Or are you saying like you have a certain place that you're like, okay, like I'm not gonna go to that place because I know that's Buffalo style pizza?
I can think of one. I haven't had it in a long time, so I don't even know if they still do like this, but I think it was called like Good Guys.
Yep, right up the road.
Yeah. That was. I remember that being like a very floppy, heavy pizza. Like you would eat it and like you kind of just fall over because your weight just gets pulled down by the cheese. But yeah, I wouldn't say avoid it, but I definitely much prefer like a New York style thinner for sure.
Yeah, I prefer the New York style thinner. I remember for the longest time La Hacienda when Aldo was the head honcho there.
Rip Aldo,
Yep, R.I.P.
money.
great guy, great. We had some good memories with him.
We definitely did. I love that kind of pizza. But I do have a saying as well, and that's free food is free food. So if there's pizza there that may not be my cup of tea, it's free food. So I'm always going to eat it.
Smart man right there.
Where I work, we had we bought like Tops Pizza one day,
Ooh.
and it was like buffalo chicken, and there was just way too much cheese on this pizza.
Mm.
I had like 2/3 of the slice. I was like, I had like the crust and like most of the, like the shaft. What I don't know what you call it. I don't know the pizza.
Shaft. The shaft.
I'm making up terms.
So like when you say the shaft, first of all, when you
You know what, Mike? Get a slice of pizza. Break down the
Yeah.
anatomy of that slice
yeah,
of pizza.
yeah. Hold it up because I'm curious to see what you mean by the shaft.
So you got the crust here, obviously.
Okay.
And the shaft would be like starting from the pointy end towards the base.
I would just call that the middle.
Yeah.
The middle could be here. It could be here. It's hard to,
I feel like it's just like the crust
Okay,
and then the middle.
like the inner 3/4. So like the point to where the crust begins, I'll say.
Okay.
Like that part, the more you got toward the crust, it got like very cheesy. So I was
Gotcha.
like, I ate like to about there, and the crust, I was like, I can't have any more. Just too much, way too much. Like that, maybe that much cheese might have messed with my stomach. Maybe.
Yeah. But I mean, possibly. One thing that bothers me about thin style is when people put too much cheese. So when you're
yeah.
kind of near your point of it, or where if you're looking at the whole pie in a whole,
You mean the shaft?
I don't know if I'm going to use that term, but the very middle of it, all the cheese will end up pooling. You get your slice, and it's just like the cheese stays there, and your pizza slice comes.
You can
I'm
almost
not a fan of that.
You can almost get away with it on thicker pizza, but when it comes to thin pizza, if you overdo it on the cheese, like it's unpleasant.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But actually, that reminds me, just you holding up that slice. I remember we had, I don't know. I know Mike. I know you had him. Cook. I'm not sure if you did, but we had a teacher in high school, and he was telling us a story about one time he had a friend of his come in from, I think it was Germany, and they went out and they went and got pizza, and he says, I'll never forget the moment he took a slice of that pizza, he held it from the point and the crust and took a bite right out of the middle of it.
Wow.
And I remember like when I heard that, I was like, I've been eating pizza my entire life, and I've never thought of like eating it that way.
Yeah, me neither.
And when I heard that, I was just like, "What?"
Yeah,
Like
that makes no
just,
sense.
Like I honestly started to laugh because I'm just like sitting there visualizing it. Like if I saw that in public, I'd probably just fall to the ground laughing
What are,
because
what are your thoughts on like folding the pizza? Like folding it up?
oh, I do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like you can't. I don't want to say I was against it, but earlier, like in my early years, I would just eat pizza just the classic way, I guess, like any normal person would do. But yeah, like folding it is elite.
Yeah, it is. I actually haven't been folding pizza until very recently. I would see people do it, and I would just eat pizza normally, and then I just started doing it. It's good technique.
I never really
especially
do it.
when it's hot the cheese might be a little ooey or gooey still, that's the time to do it.
Yeah. I never really do it because I don't know. I think a pizza is like a slice of pizza. It's pretty. It looks good on its own.
Yeah.
It kind of takes away the presentation aspect a little bit.
And you know what? That's probably the reason why I didn't do it up until like a couple of years ago. But then I'm like, okay, like I'm looking at the slice. I can admire it. Now it's going down.
Take a couple selfies with it. then I'll have it.
Talk nicely to it.
Mike, I hate to interrupt, but I think you might have got some sauce on your jersey.
Oh, no.
Oh. Not the 11-day power play jersey.
I just watched this, too.
Oh, you
episode.
did?
Yeah.
I think it's savable, though.
That's
I think
savable.
it might be savable.
I need you to dap me up.
We need
Sorry,
a tie
we'll-
pen.
we'll get
prompt.
we'll get some shout on that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
We'll get some shout on that.
Could be much worse.
It could be much worse.
But yeah, I watched this for this actually because obviously I played hockey in it, so it got some sweat stains on there. But quick plug: playing the 11-day power play.
Ooh.
This end of the June. It's so overall it's 11 days long, hence the name. Which hockey game which supports cancer research goes to Oshia Children's Hospital, goes to Camp Good Days, Make a Wish, Western New York. Very good cause. So
And during these, let me ask you, during these 11 days, are you clocking in at 8 and they kick everyone off at 6, or is this 11 straight days?
So overall, it's 11 straight days, but you have like a 1 3-hour shift.
Okay.
So example being my shift is June 27th, 6 to 9 a.m.
Okay.
So it's
That's
like
pretty
3
good.
hours. But so it's all a collection of those shifts, which make up the 11 days. So it's a pretty cool event. I've done it the past 2 years, so this will be my 3rd time doing it.
I think, was it last year or the year before? Your shift was like midnight to like 3 a.m. or something like that.
That was 2 years ago, yeah.
I remember you were like, yeah, come out. I was like, I don't know if I'm making that one.
It was a Friday night, if I can recall. So like,
It was.
what you do is you go have a drink like somewhere at a bar, then come out for the shift, and then
come
go
out
from
for
there.
the shift.
So how does that work? So they keep track of everybody's shifts, and then when it's your turn to come in, do they like signal you like, okay, like we got to swap out because the place it never stops, right? Like it's
No,
continuous.
the only stopping is like a Zamboni coming on. So like
How often do they do that?
after every shift, like 3 hours.
Every shift.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So like there's a 10-minute break with the Zambonis on there. So, but you just kind of go to the locker room because they assign you a locker room and you go to it, and then but it's cool. Like they always have like the start of each shift. They always have like a quick video of like, I don't know, like the community and stuff and pictures and such. And there's always like a message from like the captains, like it's like, oh, I guess we're coming out. Like I'm playing in the event for this person who was affected by cancer. Actually, last year, our one friend Tony was a captain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he had a message on there. It was pretty cool. So yeah, it's a cool event.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Harbor Center, right?
Harbor Center, yep.
Yeah.
Great rink.
Yeah, no, it's really nice in there.
I remember like it's always fun to go to the Sabres like development camp. I know you and our one friend Coop are big advocates for that.
Yeah.
You guys
That
been to it
was
a couple
a
times?
staple of ours for the last few years. Big time development camp guys, especially in years past when our prospects were absolutely loaded. I think the one year we saw like Darlene, Middlestat. I think we still had Alex Nylander at the time.
Yeah.
And it was
UPL.
just
UPL.
UPL. Yeah. And it was just completely loaded. But yeah, no, that's I actually didn't go last year. I think it was because it was like in the middle of the week and I had to work, so I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna. I like the prospects, but they're not that special to me to
Take work off. Yeah.
But I do have a good story about that. There was this one time where at the end of it, they always do a scrimmage. Like I think it's like either a 3v3 or it's a 3v3 scrimmage with a tournament.
Yep.
And Coop and I were gonna go, but the couple days before that, I didn't have tickets, and I was like hunting down tickets. I was trying to find tickets, and a good friend of my dad's had a plug and put me in contact with this guy, so I got the tickets. But I told Coop, I was like, "Hey, Coop, I'm trying to get tickets, but as of now, it was like Friday night. I was like, I don't have them. Like, I just don't have them." And he's like, "All right, whatever." And the scrimmage was the next morning at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh.
So I get a call at like 8:30 at night, and he's like, "Hey, I got your tickets." And this is a mutual friend of my father's, and he's like, "You got to pick them up though." And I'm like, "All right, where you at?" And he goes, "Orchard Park." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." So I'm like, and this was I think like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was like, I really want to go to this scrimmage. If I have the chance to get tickets for this scrimmage, like I'm there. So make the trip out to Orchard Park, and I didn't get back till later. And I remember texting Coop, and I'm like, yo, dude, like I got the tickets, and he didn't respond. And I'm like, shit, he's probably sleeping.
Yep.
And I sent him like 3 to 4 text messages after that because again, the scrimmage was at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right, you had to be up.
So you had to be up early. And then earlier the next morning, right, Saturday, he texted me. He's like, "What? No way! Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "Nope, I got him." So we ended up going, and it was a blast. But yeah, cool story there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
About the scrimmage.
Did you guys like see players in the elevator too?
We did.
Was that a different time?
No,
or?
we did. Yeah, it was a different time. That was I think 2 years ago. We were at the Harbor Center elevator. I think we were actually like in the parking garage, and because it's like all connected.
Yeah.
You guys have been there before. So we walk in, and the door opens, and there's a guy standing like right as you walk into the right. There's a guy standing there, and then somebody to the back left. And when we walked in, we couldn't really see, and then we turned around, and it's Owen Power and Linus Weisbach, and I'm like, whoa, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty cool.
I did not expect. Yeah, I did not expect seeing them. And I remember like we just were like, hey, you guys look great on the ice because they just finished up. I think it was like the drills, and I remember Linus Weisbach was like, yeah, how do we look out there? I'm like, look pretty good, But that was a cool memory.
Nice. It's like just like shared a cigarette with Owen Power in the elevator.
In the elevator?
Something that you like hear about like at the old Pink or something like that.
Yeah.
I shared a cigarette with a player. Actually, speaking of the old Pink, right? That brings up another memory of a time where Mike and I were out. I believe it was like December, and we're just rest in peace to the old Pink. By the way, we're gonna miss you. Some great memories there, even though I've only been there like twice. But anyways. We're just chilling, having a drink, and Mike's like, hey, Sam, check that guy out over there. He goes, I think that's Paul Bissonnette. And I'm like, get out of here. That's not Paul. I mean, it's a Tuesday night in the middle of December. What the hell is Paul Bissonnette doing in Buffalo? That's not Paul Bissonnette. So I do like a double take. I do a triple take. I do a quadruple take. And I'm like, son of a bitch. That's Paul Bissonnette. So
I'm pretty sure that's him.
So I'm like, okay, I got to say something to him. So I walk over to him, and I'm like, hey, are you Paul Bissonnette? And he's kind of like, I wouldn't say he's trash, but he had a couple drinks. And I'm like, are you Paul Bissonnette? And he goes, hey, man, what's up? Yeah, I am. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, I got a buddy of mine who lives in Buffalo. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I think at that time, we were a year removed from trading Eichel. So I was like, hey, what are your thoughts on Eichel? Like, the Eichel move, like I just kind of asking him about it. He's like, Eichel is a great man, dude. He's like, I had him on the pod and all that stuff.
Yeah, because he was like, I remember we asked him, and he was like, I'm a players guy. He's like, I'm always for the players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So he was like on Eichel's side. So like, which is fair. But.
Yeah.
I remember he was waiting in line for a steak sandwich, and he's like, yeah, that's what I'm here for. He was kind of like half buzzed, half drunk a little bit, but no, cool experience. I got a picture with him, and I still can't believe it to this day that was him. I was like, I literally thought you were screwing with me.
The funny thing is, he's like much bigger now. Not bigger like in size, but he's like much more popular now than he was.
Oh,
then.
for sure, yeah.
Being on, I just knew him as like an old player who like I think was on like who had a podcast obviously with Barstool.
Yeah.
Versus now he's like one of the faces of like the TNT show.
Did you not know that he was on TNT at that time?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because he was then he must have been pretty new to it, right?
I'm not sure about that because I don't really listen to Spit and Chicklets. Like I knew he was affiliated with it, but I knew him from watching TNT and the pre and post game shows.
Yeah.
So that's why I recognized him, because that's pretty much kind of where I know him from. Like I knew he played in the league, but I didn't really. I think he was only in the league for
not long.
Not long. It was like a couple of years.
Yeah, with the Coyotes. Yeah.
Did he play for the Maple Leafs too, or was it just the Coyotes?
I don't know.
I know he's a Leafs fan.
He was drafted.
Yeah,
he was drafted by the Penguins. I know that.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then he went to Coyotes, and I'm not sure where he went after that, but maybe Leafs.
Yeah, maybe a couple stragglers teams out
Couple
there
teams,
for
couple
a year
German
or so.
teams. Played in Germany for a year probably.
Down there in Toronto.
Right. But yeah, he's funny. You ever listen? I like listen to that podcast because like they allow players on there, so it's fun to hear their stories.
Yeah, because you watch the guys play, but you never like hear their experiences or through their eyes.
Yeah, I remember listening to like one with like Sidney Crosby, Nate McKinnon, Devin Levi, Darlene, a lot of good ones on there. I remember it's always just fun to hear like the stories of players just like messing around with each other. That's always like a good part of it.
Yeah. Especially like I feel like when you play hockey, you can relate to it more, you know, and you just kind of get the inside scoop of like what goes on in the locker room and stuff like that. But one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to that's hockey related is After the Whistle. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but Andrew Peters and Craig Rivet, that's one of my favorites. It's a podcast that I listen to all the time, and that's a really good one because two reasons. One, both Craig and Andrew Peters played in the league, so you get to hear like that aspect, like the inside scoop. They're far removed from the league. Like it's been about a decade, maybe longer than that. But you hear a lot of good inside scoop on the Sabres, and it's a great pod. They also have like guests on there sometime, like Thomas Vanek's on there, Jeremy Roenick.
I know Gianta's been on there too.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense because he's I think Gianna lives in Rochester. I think he played with Craig Rivet too, if I'm not mistaken. I think in Montreal actually.
Oh, yeah,
Montreal.
They must have, yeah.
So they definitely know each other. That's cool. My favorite episodes though are like I'm a big time, I guess you could say like off season anticipation for the season guy. Like it seems like whenever we're in the off season, especially like the last 5-6 years, we've always been on the hunt. Like, oh, we're trying to make moves and stuff like that. So like I get off on that, but my favorite episodes are when they introduce Mike Harrington and Paul Hamilton, because a lot of times there's some heated discussions and you get to hear like backstories on moves that were made, potential moves, and just kind of like get the overall like almost like fly on the wall type of thing of like things that you wouldn't normally hear.
Right.
So those are my all-time favorite episodes.
Classic Harrington. I remember this was a long time ago when I used to like be active on Twitter and would like follow the Sabres and Yankees to like a much more degree. I think I remember telling you this. I tweeted at like Harrington about something. I think it was about the Yankees actually though, because he was tweeting about the Blue Jays because like I think he like mostly covering the Bisons. He was much more affiliated with them. And me being a Yankees fan, I like sent him some tweet. I don't even know what it was, and he answered me, and I went back and forth with him for like 2-3 messages. But since then, I was like, oh, I can't stand the guy. But really, there's really no issue.
Wasn't it about like, hey, quit covering the Blue Jays or something like that? You're
Something
like
like
you're
that.
posting too much about like Toronto baseball. Like focus on the
because I think the Blue Jays were good. And I was just frustrated by that.
Oh, was that? Okay.
So I just took it out on him, and he was like, he gave it back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harrington doesn't cut corners.
But yeah, that show is. I listened to that episode or that show a couple episodes, and it's definitely entertaining for sure. Because when they have an opinion, they're very bold about it.
Oh,
they do not
very
hold back.
bold. Yeah, very bold.
They'll be like, "This guy sucks," and I'll tell you why.
But that's what makes it good, though. You know, because
Yeah.
they don't hold back. You
No,
know,
they don't.
a lot of podcasts and everybody's different, right? You'll just have like they'll report like the information. They will state their opinions, but I feel like when they have like a juicy opinion on somebody, they make it known. You know?
Yeah.
That's true.
They don't back away from it.
Ever wonder if the players like ever listen to that kind of stuff?
I'm sure they do.
Probably.
I'm sure they
Yeah,
do.
probably some
Or you
more
see
than others.
clips.
Or
You
see
probably
clips,
see clips. Yeah.
I don't know if they're like listening to it like religiously, but I would definitely say that they tune in here and there when they can.
Yeah, they probably just know the overall theme of like what people's what the majority's opinions are
Right.
on like a certain thing. Like, I don't know. Like let's say like
Well, look at McDermott recently. He jumped on the radio show.
Oh, Brandon
Brandon
Bean.
Bean, yeah.
Or Bean, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Yep.
yeah, because that was odd. I thought like
It was very out of character for him.
yeah.
Yeah, he must have just had a bad day.
He
and-
must have, because like I don't know, like it's obvious like you've proved you're a good general manager. Like you've been here like 5-6 years. Like you're a good general manager. I don't know why
Well,
he felt like he had to defend himself.
I don't even know if it was for that. It might have just been like, and I agree. Like I feel like something may have happened, you know, to him before that because that's very out of character for him. But the way I took it was like, hey, I'm in here doing my job and like I'm doing a damn good one, right? And I mean, you look at the team for the last 4 or 5 years. Like he's got terrific, not the results that we want. Obviously, we want a Super Bowl, but he's definitely like put the franchise back on the map with the moves he's made. So I think like when you're tuning into that and you're listening to that, you just get boiled up and you know calling into the show. Like that really surprised me. Like I didn't like when I heard that at first. I was like, "There's no way that's Brandon Bean." I'm like, "That's got to be like an impersonator or something like that." AI. But yeah, no, that caught me off guard for sure.
Speaking of AI, have you seen like those clips on like Instagram or stuff where they're like AI generated clips of like I don't know, like historical figures, like their POV, like in their time?
Oh,
have you seen any of those?
I have not.
Oh, really? I saw one, or another example. I saw one of like Bigfoot in the woods. Like he's talking like an actual like
Really?
human. Yeah, it's hilarious.
I've seen ones where like interviews and stuff. They like just like say random stuff that they would never have said.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah.
So for 5 seconds, you're like, "Did he say this?" No, we definitely didn't say that.
It is getting more real.
Yeah, no, I did see one. I didn't see any like animations, but I did see one last year. I don't know if you guys remember the Bruins Panthers playoff series. I think it was Sam Bennett like took out Brad Marchand, and like it was like I don't think he intentionally punched him in the face, although like you could maybe argue for that. But he basically took Brad Marchand out, and after the game, Jim Montgomery, their former head coach, was in a post game interview, and I heard like an AI interview of that. They altered it, and made it like so that like you could hear like they obviously edited it, and it was just hilarious. He was like, Brad Marchand is public enemy #1. Like we're doing whatever we can to take his ass out, or no, not Brad Marchand, Sam Bennett, my bad. And I was like literally listening to it, and I was like, I can't believe like he's actually saying this. And it took me a minute because like it didn't start off as like this big like, oh, like you could tell some of them are like very fake. But in this case, like it was like very subtle. I'm like, there's no way he said that. And then I'm like, oh, it's AI.
Yeah, another thing this sounds like a weird problem, but my phone is like always, I don't have the ringer on. I never do. It's just like on vibrate. And lately, this weird problem of like I feel like my phone's vibrating in my pocket, and I look and it's not.
That happens to me all the time.
And I don't know. It just started recently. Like I've never had this problem until recently. I don't know why.
Maybe just like subconsciously expect to get a text. Maybe. You're like, oh, it's been a while. I must
It could be. It could be.
That happens to me from time to time, and it kind of freaks me out because I'm like, I swear my phone just vibrated.
Right.
Because I do the same thing. I don't have the ringer on. I just keep my phone on vibrate.
Yeah. There's a term for it too. I just don't know. I don't know the term off the top of my head.
So maybe like if you like text someone and then you're kind of anticipating their response.
Yeah.
And it's been like 20, 30 minutes. Like, that must be. Nope, that's not it. Never mind.
Not it.
Yeah.
Could be something on the background too. Like sometimes like there's certain apps that might vibrate during like if you have them set up a certain way, just as like a reminder, even though you don't have a notification. Because I know I'm sure like when that happens, there's no notifications or anything like that.
Right. I got an update. So last time we had a podcast, I was sharing my issue with the bird's nest on the wreath at my front door.
That's right.
And the update is the nest is gone. I decided to keep the nest there. I watched the bird grow up. I felt like a proud father when I watched it fly away.
How long were they there for?
I would say probably a month.
Yeah,
probably a month. There were 2 eggs in there. One did not hatch, unfortunately. But yeah, the nest is gone. The birds have flown, and it was a nice wholesome moment.
That's right. We need more wholesome in the world. So
We do.
that's very true.
That's a good way to bring in some more life. I like that.
It was more life here at one of the More Life studios.
That's right. One of the many over the years.
Yeah, many studios over the years.
Oh yeah.
I'm leaving the nest up in memory of them.
Yeah, but what else? You anything else you guys want to talk about? Trying to think. We were off some time. I think for our fans that may be wondering why, we are busy people, of course, and then obviously the distance between myself and Mike, we're a solid like hour, 40 minutes away from each other. So it's hard to get times.
Closer at heart though.
Yeah, we're closer at heart, but it's hard to get times scheduled out and set. And we also both work in healthcare, so sickness does come and go very often. So, we do our best to stay on schedule, and we do have some good guests coming up.
We do.
And we came back with a banger here.
That's right. Absolutely.
Glad you guys were able to test the pizza out and rate it.
Very good.
And glad you guys liked it.
Yeah. And I I don't know. I think with that, I think that's pretty good. Solid.
Covers. Good happy.
Yeah,
Good
I
happy.
think it's good happy back.
Oh, yeah.
So with that,
This has been the MMore Life Podcast.